I'm going to tell you how to choose the best air bike for your gym. I'm Kayvon, founder of Blitz Steel, and this is our air bike lineup. So first off, I want to kick it off by telling you, in case you don't know, if you're unfamiliar with air bikes and the difference between air bikes and your classic indoor cycling bike, is it's multiple things, but the two main things is that an air bike derives its resistance from these fan blades going against the air. And these indoor cycling bikes, ours in particular, it's a dial knob with a magnetic resistance, creating that tension. And then of course, air bikes have the arms on it as well as the pedals. So it's kind of like a full body movement, whereas on the indoor cycling, it's just your legs, right? So, having said that, what is the difference between our core lineup? So at Blitz Steel, we got three different types of air bikes. We've got the Blitz, the original, the Blitz bike. We got the Blitz MAX over here, and then we've got the residential air bike over here. So let me start off in the middle, because this is our oldest model. We've sold thousands of units of this over the years, and still our most popular model. So as an air bike itself, it's got a 25-inch fan, so that's going to be like a little bit stronger resistance, and it's got some cool extra features on it, like that come default with it. So there are some other air bike brands out there that if you want a wind guard, that's a whatever, $20, $30 upcharge. If you want a bottle holder, it's a whatever upcharge. Ours comes default with that wind guard and the bottle holder, and you can take that wind guard off as well if you want the full fan experience, if you live maybe in a hot climate. But a lot of people like to keep that wind guard on. And let me give you a quick demo of it. So yeah, just hop on and you do your arms and your legs at the same time. You can do just your arms with your feet up on the pedals, or you can do just your legs. Now, I'm not, you can quote me on that, you can fact check me, but I believe the origin of air bikes is they were originally introduced maybe in the 50s or 60s, and they were marketed more towards actually senior citizens because it is like a full body movement, right? So keeping active as you get older and keeping every part of your body moving is really important to keeping up your mobility and your strength and your overall conditioning. So rather than the old option back in the day of just a bike where your upper body is left completely out of the loop, it helps keep that entire body moving, which is, like I said, important for aging well. So that's what our understanding of the origin of the air bike is. And now it's moved its way into, now you mostly see it in like hardcore facilities, like cross-training facilities. People use it for like very intensive training. But the original purpose was that, more of that older crowd and keeping them active and mobile. So yeah, that's our classic Blitz Air Bike. Let me step on to the residential one. So the core difference between these is mostly just the size, right? So all these are belt driven. That's something important that I forgot to bring up. Is a belt drive air bike is smoother, it's quieter. Belt drive, they started using them on bicycles as well. They need less repairs. So when they're done and they need to be replaced, but along the way, there's not much repairs, right? Whereas chain, it can have a lot more repairs along the way, and maybe it'll last longer, but there's a lot more problems that happen with it with that longer life, whereas belts can last a very long time and there's no problems until there is a problem and you just need to replace it. So we've got these, they're all belt driven, and the core difference being the size, and not just the size, so it's got like a 20-inch fan and a little bit smaller of a base. And that size also plays a factor in shipping. So one of the reasons we brought this out is that the classic Blitz, the shipping on it is in one box. It still goes by, parcel, FedEx, UPS. But in shipping, when a box gets to a certain limit, UPS and FedEx will accept it, but they'll make you pay a pretty mean penalty for doing that. I think it's, I don't know, 50 bucks, 70 bucks a box. So this residential air bike comes in just over those UPS dimensional limits as well. So it saves quite a bit on the shipping, and we're able to offer like a better price on the bike. So yeah, you've got that smaller fan, you got that smaller footprint, but you got, you know, a similar, it's the same monitor on it, a very similar feel, a little bit easier, but a great option. And you do get that wind guard as well as the bottle holder on these. And now I'm going to hop over to the Blitz MAX, which is my personal favorite, and not just my favorite because it's the most expensive. I genuinely think it is by far the best resistance bike I've ever used. So the core features on this, it's got a few bells and whistles that are handy. So it's got these large tires on the front, which are great for moving it around. If you're getting this for a commercial facility, you need to be able to move bikes in and out for a class. That's a A+ feature. And then it has kind of a unique shape on the handles as well. So the handles, you've got 2 grips on them, and you've got the side as well, so it gives you some variation on the handles. And then most importantly, I'll pull you in here, as the monitor and the resistance itself. So this monitor, I saw this monitor and I said I love it because it has physical buttons on it, okay? Now I know a lot of people might think, oh, that's not a big deal, but when you're training hard and you're sweating, and just be able to hit those buttons, you know, hit that stop or hit that start or whatever, as opposed to on the other monitors, they're like that, I'm not sure what the name for it, but it's not an actual physical button. You kind of got to press down on it. And it's got the magnetic resistance. So it's got this, it's got that 25-inch fan for air resistance, but then you've got these other options as well that provide the additional or less magnetic resistance. And then it does have, rather than a wind guard like those ones, it has a adjustable, kind of like you see in like your car, right? Like this adjustable air vent that you can, you know, close in and out. So you don't have to just choose between having a wind guard on and having a wind guard off. You can just adjust it as needed. And yeah, a few other kind of like features like that. So I'll give you a quick little demo on it. So yeah, you can cruise along. It's extremely smooth. That additional magnetic resistance just kind of gives it like a smoother feel. And then you got those different handle options as well. It's nice for people of different heights. You know, you're not just fixed if you're married and, you know, one partner A is 6'5" and partner B is 5'2", and, you know, it could kind of accommodate those different heights and body size as well. And same thing, you can take your feet off and just do an upper body, and take your arms off and just do your legs. Oh, and then one of my favorite features of all, it has this iPad or iPhone holder on it. And so you can cruise while watching your favorite show. You can also do that on the other bikes, but it's a bit of a caveat. Depending on what you're using, like an iPad, the width might interfere with the handles, whereas this one, you're more in the clear because it's higher up and more away from the handles. And then also, it's like a dedicated section, so you can still see what your time is and see what your, you know, calories burned, your distance, whatever, while having your iPad or iPhone up here. Whereas on this one, where you put your device, completely blocks your metrics. So if you're having a really hard workout, you're not really going to have a great idea of like what's going on unless you pick up your phone or you put it sideways. That kind of works too. But yeah, just like a cool feature to have on there. And yeah, that's like a great breakdown. Now, why are you going to choose one or the other? I got to be honest, it's just how much you want to spend, right? If you got the disposable income and you want one of these, I can't recommend the Max enough. It is our worst selling one. So that price obviously interferes a lot with people's buying decisions. It's pretty much what I only use. I had a regular Blitz in my home gym for a very long time, and now I mostly train at work at Balls of Steel here, and this is my go-to one. The other thing is the air bikes that you might see in a cross-training competition, as opposed to something like this with the magnetic resistance. You would never see that in a comp. I don't think really ever. So that's one other advantage of getting just like a classic Blitz bike. And yeah, one other thing I wanted to mention, there's air bikes have gotten quite popular. There's quite a few companies selling them. So why would you want to buy them from Bells of Steel? So Bells of Steel, yeah, like I said, I'm the founder, and we started in 2010. It's 2025 now, so 15 years. So when it comes to gym equipment in general, but particularly cardio equipment, there is that continuity that's really important when it comes to parts and service, because anything cardio, I don't care if it's a $20,000 top of the line air bike, I don't think that exists, but theoretically it does exist. That's gonna wear down, that's gonna need service, that's gonna need parts over time, right? And maybe when you buy a power rack, you're never gonna need any service for it. It's a big hunk of steel. But when it comes to cardio, there's definitely that service. We're gonna be here, we got a full-time, we got 3 full-time people that all they do is parts and service, and work on that to make sure that our customers stay happy, not just happy for their purchase, but continuously happy, because we're not going anywhere. We're 15 years in, we're gonna be here another 15, 20, 50. Hopefully I'll be doing this till I retire, and maybe even pass it on to my kids. So continuity and warranty, and of course being also, we're in Canada, so we have a Canadian company, US company. We're expanding internationally as well. And so what's important there too is that we, with that 15 years experience and being based here, we were very particular about our products. We're fully insured, and we have a very vested interest in making quality, durable, safe products for consumers. And I've been seeing, a growing trend of maybe pop-up companies that are maybe from offshore, and they kind of pop up and just start selling stuff as quick and as cheap as they can, and then maybe disappear a few months or years later, and you're stuck with what you got, and good luck to you. So yeah, that's another reason to choose Bells of Steel when you're trying to select. And I put a lot of, I'm one of the main designers here too. I've been lifting and working out since I was 12 years old. And so there's a lot of thought and features and benefits on these machines that might not otherwise see from competitors. So yeah, that's my spiel if you're unfamiliar with Bells of Steel. So if you want to buy any one of these air bikes, click the link below in the description, and let the gains begin. I'm Kayvon, founder of Bells of Steel. I hope you love that video, and if you want to check out any more of our products or follow us on social media, click the links below in the description, and let the gains begin.